everybody, and welcome to the channel. Now, I'm still here. It's just myself, JD and Josiah. All the others are off holiday, and so we are just, finding things to do. So currently JD and Johnny are picking up rocks. I'm going around looking for weeds and just sussing out what we need to do regarding spray and all of that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, what I'll probably do this video, actually, I don't know if I've ever done it before, but this video is predominantly going to be just a crop inspection. So I'm here at the development block, then I'll go to the south lease block, then I'll go back around to the main lease block, then back to the main farm, then maybe where the cotton was, and then back to the north lease block where my house is. So we might do the whole trip, just to update on where all the crops are. So this is the wheat here at the development block. It's all looking really good, actually. So I'm on a headland here, actually, so it gets a bit confusing. So I'll go over here. Still a bit nippy, the fog's just sort of lifting over on the hills, but yeah, we can see here it's all come up quite evenly. This isn't a particularly good patch, it's not particularly bad, this is just an average spot. So it's it's all coming up really nice. So we can see a little bit of damage from animals that have eaten them off, but other than that, it's pretty good. It's all looking good. Not the weeds aren't too bad. So there's no big rush to get this sprayed, but we'll we might go and have a bit of a look at the linseed. So that's where it was organic last year. So we'll go have a look at that. Well, we've just ducked over here to the linseed. Now this is actually some of what was sown with the second cultivator, the second planter, which was a cultivator. And this is where we're a little bit worried if it was going to come through or not, because when you're cultivating, it's a bit hard to know exactly where the seed's going to end up, and you can end up with these really tall piles. Like here's a good example, like that. And then sometimes it can be that deep that the seed doesn't come through, but it looks like it has, or a good chunk of it has anyway. So it's not going to be a very big problem. So yeah, those ones are just coming through. They'll be probably 4 or 5 inches down, I'd say. But yeah, this soil is very soft. You can see my boot when I step. It's just really nice and soft. So it's not very hard for the linseed to punch through. You can see here, this was a bit much for it, this hump here. So it doesn't look like much has come through there at all. It's tried, but for whatever reason, just a bit too deep. So yeah, it is looking pretty good. It's not as good a job as what was sown with the Boss planter. Obviously that's more of a precision planter. You can control your depth better and all of that. Whereas this setup was just a bit, I don't quite know what you call it. You could call it agricultural, but it's not that. It's just a different way of planting, and sometimes conditions just make it one planter suit better in one situation and another suits better in another. So but no, it's looking really good, and I'd say probably where the Boss planter planted it would probably all look just like this row here, where you can see just a nice thick row. That's sort of where the other stuff's at. So anyway, it's coming along. It is drying out now, so they'll be ready to crack, get a bit of sunshine on them and crack into it. They are talking a fair bit of cold weather, so we'll just see how much that stunts things. But it is all looking pretty good. guys, we are at the south lease block. So yeah, at the wheat here. And I'm just checking up from the spray I did about 2.5 weeks ago. That was whatever video that was where I had to duck off halfway through and JD finished off the spraying. So I'm just having a bit of a look around here at the minute just to see what kind of job it did and see where the crops are at and that. And I'm just not sure. I would have thought 2 weeks would be enough time to see a bit more evidence of some sick weeds. The main one's probably the ryegrass. We can see here, here's one sort of in with the wheat there, but you can see them along the furrows. There's one there. They are looking a little ill, but I was hoping it would knock them a bit better than that, but could just take a little bit more time. But anyway, like we can see here, these ones are definitely sick. You can see they're all curled up, but yeah, maybe it's just not enough. We went on a pretty heavy rate. It was pretty good conditions, but that's life sometimes. Ryegrass in particular, because it's quite a shiny leaf, it's hard to get the chemical into it. It doesn't absorb it as easily or stick to the plant as easily. So anyway, that's the update for the wheat. I'll probably go up to the bit of a lookout where we do the base station, and I'll do a bit of flying around with the drone, see what we find. But yeah, other than that, it's just looking real thick. This isn't even one of the thicker patches. It's coming along exceptionally well. Righto everybody, next stop on the tour, crop inspection. We're at the main lease block. So this is the wheat. This is actually some of the first wheat we actually planted, so makes sense because it's thick, so you can barely see the ground between the rows now, which is excellent. But yeah, it's looking real good. It's all nice and even. There's not any overly big patches where there's, for whatever reason, it's struggling or anything like that. So from what we can see, it looks all pretty good. I was talking to a neighbour a little while ago now, and I think in some crops, because it's been just beautiful conditions, a bit of a few mornings of frost probably will help just slow things down a bit. It's going a bit too crazy, but no, it's been perfect growing conditions. Anyway, it'll be set up, if we can continue to get the rain when we need it, it'll be set up beautifully. So we'll see you wherever we end up next. Well, we're doing it all. I think we're going to get every crop that we've got in updated. So apologies for anyone that finds this a little boring, but it's just what I'm doing today. So here we have the chickpeas we sowed behind the cotton. You'll follow along from some of the other dramas we had with trying to cultivate and sow. It was a bit wet. Yeah, anyway, that's in previous vlogs. So what's happening here, we can make out where the cotton's been here, in these two strips here, and most of them have been ripped up. There's a few there that are still sort of attached, but so that's fine, that's good. But then we found we had to sow on the angle. So that's the normal direction we sow, harvest everything. but going on an angle just to help clear clear the trash when we're trying to plant it. So went from doing about 20 to 30 hectares a day to probably 60, 70 or 80, so makes a lot of difference. But we can see green rose, and you'll see it in the drone shot as well. But yeah, you can see that there's definitely some green rose, which is excellent. Hopefully it fills in a little bit more. We can see here on this row it hasn't quite punched through. Some here, there's a bit of it, there's like a 1.5 foot gap. Not sure what has happened there, but there is a good chance too that with this rain some will punch through just a little bit later. So at the minute there's enough there to have a crop, so that's exciting. Even though it is a little patchy in some spots, it will be all right. Right guys, this is the second last stop for the day, and it's just about the end of the day. So this is the latest of the chickpeas that we planted, and it is coming along pretty good. We are finding there's a little bit of a yellow tip to some of them, and it's not really uniform, so we're not sure exactly what's going on with it, whether it's some deficiency. The agronomist knows about it, and we're just might even try a couple of things, or whether it's some sort of herbicide damage, whether there's some residual herbicides that are affecting it a little bit. But yeah, it is just looking a little yellow. It's still growing fine, it's not going to kill it, but it's and yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But all in all, it's coming up pretty good. It's really got going the last little bit. Probably a couple of weeks it's really got going. So that's the later stuff we sowed, so it's not quite as advanced. Well, it's more advanced than the stuff at where the cotton was, but then we'll go over to the early chickpeas, which is just over the road here, and we can see here that it is really looking pretty nice and thick. I'll just get off the headland a little bit, but yeah, that's a foot high easily, filling in really nicely. So yeah, that is excellent to see. So this is off the headland, so they're the rows there, so you can barely see that there's any rows, which is a good sign. So they're looking really good, nice and thick, nice and yeah, got to be careful. These have got a bit of an acid kind of thing on it, so walking through them you can wreck your pants. But yeah, they are just quite a healthy looking chickpea plant, that. So that is the chickpeas. So it'll be interesting to see the difference come harvest time with the yield, as far as the early or later sown stuff, which is better. And yeah, obviously even the stuff behind the cotton, which because it could be a wet year, the cotton's taken some moisture out of the ground, so it may even do better there because it doesn't have as much moisture. But I'm pretty sure, just being on that flatter country, it's probably going to yeah, like the hills can shed moisture a little bit more, and this soil can sort of handle it a bit, whereas that soil down there ends up yeah, it's like a tacky sort of a soil, so we'll just have to wait and see how that all goes. Hopefully with the cotton taking out some moisture, it'll help not to let the chickpeas get waterlogged, but it's all just wait and see. So we'll head head to the north lease block now, and that'll be the last of the updates. So to sum it up, I'll try and give you rough distances between properties. I don't generally, I mean, it'd be easy to on a map to show you, but I just, for privacy reasons, I'm sure you guys understand, yeah, we don't want to be plastering maps of exactly where everything is. So we basically, starting from here, the north lease block, so this is a northernmost property, we have, we'll do a little mud map, little finger in the dirt. So say that's north, I've got my place here, then about 10 k's away we've got the main farm, that's where the shed is, the workshop, and then only about 6 k's sort of from it is where Brad's house is, that's where the cotton was. Now it's about probably 35 kilometres sort of further south, more into the hills, is where the development block is, and then probably 25 or 30 k's from there, even further south, is the south lease block. Where's the, I guess I got the main lease block in there. So if the main farm's here, where the workshop is, then the lease block's only about 10 to 12 k's just to the south of the main farm. So sort of where the cotton was, the main farm, lease block, this place here, are all sort of within, you know, 10-15 k's of each other, and then we've got the development block, which is a fair hike away, and then the south lease block is even a bit further than that. So that's just the rough sort of, I don't know what you call it, geographical layout. But here we are with the barley. Now the barley's absolutely going nuts here. So I'm just in a bit of a very varied sort of a situation here. I'll get into some more even stuff. It's still got water on the leaves from, it's what, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's still water on the leaves from the fog and the dew this morning. So this is probably pretty right. So that's, yeah, the tips of it are at the bottom of my knees, so that's a good yeah, bit over a foot, and it is just thickened right up. Can't see the ground at all really. So that is very exciting to see, and again probably needs to slow down a bit. It's just going crazy. We might finish off with a bit of a drone shot of this as the sun's going down, but that'll be it for the video, guys. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.